Experience immediate gains in horsepower, torque, and fuel economy when you swap out your Super Duty's inefficient intake system with this advanced, innovative intake system from industry leader S&B. The factory intake is routed underneath the battery tray in an inefficient manner, letting your Super Duty suck in cool air, only to be heated up before passing through your air filter. The S&B intake solves this issue by swapping the location of the battery in the filter, so your Powerstroke gets the most cool air possible. Begin the install by removing the positive and negative battery cables on the driver's side battery. Do the same with the passenger side battery near the stock intake. Continue on the passenger side and unbolt the battery tie-down handle to remove the battery from the engine bay. Now unplug the mass air sensor and unclip the rubber hoses from the stock intake tube. The intake tube can be loosened from the intake box and turbo inlet, then pull the tube from the engine and remove it from the truck. The intake box has bolts in the lower box that can now be removed in order to pull the box from the truck. You will then have easier access to the wire harness clipped to the side of the box to remove. Next up on the battery box, you will have a wire harness on the side to take off, along with a couple of connectors on the top of the box. 4 bolts total hold the box to the frame, 2 on the bottom and 2 on the side. And the last piece of the battery box puzzle belongs to a push clip on the snorkel inlet. Once all of these items are removed, take the battery box and intake snorkel out of the engine bay. Do it carefully and make sure you didn't miss any wire harness clips like we did here. Move to the side of the engine bay and remove the stock intake airbox bracket. Now we have to change the location of the ground wire that was above the bracket by moving it to the location behind it. Our truck had another ground connection in this location, but some trucks may not. Make sure you point the ground wire towards the rear of the truck for more clearance. The passenger side negative battery cable will be rotated upside down with the new setup, so remove the nut on the tie down, then the wedge and bolt. Flip the clip to the other side, then reinstall the bolt, wedge, and nut. Take the nut off the positive cable, then remove the secondary positive cables from the terminal. We will attach the supplied cable extensions with the new hardware and finish the cables off by applying the shrink wrap to the cables. Once the extensions are completed, reattach them to the battery cable. We will now work our way down to the bottom battery tray bracket extension and remove the push clip from the side. Set the bracket extension in place and hand thread in the outer 2 bolts to align the bracket properly. Use the provided hardware for the center, then tighten this one completely. Now remove the outer 2 bolts and reattach the harness push clip. Back on our workbench, we can start to assemble the new airbox. Attach the tube seal to the box, followed by the foam filters and their caps. The silicone inlet is next and attaches onto the box with the provided plastic rivets. If you want to use the box plug, push it in place now or leave it out if you want maximum airflow. Above the box plug, push in the two grommets. Back at the stock airbox, remove the mass air sensor to transfer to the new intake with the gasket and the pad. S&B provides new hardware for the sensor. Drop the assembled airbox into the truck. You might have to slightly bend the AC line forward near the coolant tank for clearance. Line up the two lower screws and bolt in the airbox to the bracket. On the inlet tube, slide on the silicone coupler to the turbo inlet side with the two band clamps. Slide the tube onto the filter box, then twist onto the turbo inlet and tighten the clamps. The air inlet can receive its push pin, then drop in the S&B filter. Along the edge of the intake box there is a groove for the sight window seal. Insert the seal into this groove and set the window onto the box with the supplied screws. S&B provides a mass air extension harness to attach the mass air sensor and the truck harness. Plug it in and depress the red locking tab on the connectors to install it. Now we need to separate the factory battery tray and snorkel to get to the battery tie down. So remove the screws on the snorkel and pull it apart from the battery tray, then remove the giant U-bolt. Place the U-bolt into the new battery box and secure it with a zip tie. Then you can place the battery box into the engine bay and secure it with the bottom and side bolts. Drop your battery back into the engine bay and reattach the battery tie-down bracket. The battery itself can also be reconnected with the negative battery cable turned upside down. Also reattach the driver's side battery cables and the install is completed. You can see here how the air inlet now has a direct path to the filter, enabling you to get the coldest air into your motor as possible. Check out this product by clicking the link at the end of the video or head to stage3motorsports.com.